Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about gut health and specifically the gut microbiome, so why it's so important and how we can look after it. If you're new here, I'm Ellie. I'm a recipe developer and soon to be registered nutritionist. Digestive health is where my true passion lies, having had Crohn's since I was 8 years old. So I've been fascinated by gut health my whole life. So why is it important to have a healthy gut? Well, if you have a healthy gut, you're probably going to get sick less often, feel more energetic, and ultimately have better physical and emotional well-being. Let's start with two of my favorite fun facts about the gut. Did you know that 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut? This happy hormone is essential for maintaining mood balance, so it's no surprise that the gut is known as the second brain, as it really is so closely linked with our mental health through the gut-brain axis. What's even more interesting to me is that 80% of the immune system is located in the gut. So if you imagine your gut is the first line of defense when it comes to the immune system, that means that a healthy gut could help you fight off anything from minor infections like coughs and colds, to making you less likely to develop certain autoimmune conditions like Crohn's, colitis, eczema, and even type 1 diabetes. You've probably heard of the gut microbiome, which are the trillions of bacteria that live in your gut that are essential to your health. The gut microbiome weighs about 2 kilograms and is bigger than the average human brain. It's been linked with everything from controlling appetite and ability to digest food to overcoming anxiety and supporting immunity. Studies suggest that having a diverse population of gut microbes is associated with better gut health. So if you think about planting a garden, you want a diverse range of plants and flowers, all of which flourish under different conditions. So some might do better in direct sunlight, some thrive in the shade, some like more water. So we want this diversity, but the problem is, as human populations have urbanized over time, the diversity of our microbes has actually declined. And this might be due to our lifestyle, our diets, the cleanliness in our homes, and our frequent use of antibiotics. One of the implications of this loss of diversity in our gut microbiome appears to be a significant increase in chronic diseases, so things like asthma, food allergies, and autoimmune conditions. We've all heard the saying, you are what you eat, and it appears to be even truer than we may have thought. The way we choose to eat will have a direct impact on the way we feel and function. And a lack of variety, even in a generally healthy diet, can have two negative impacts. Firstly, it can prevent you from getting the nutrients you need. And secondly, it can actually damage and change the entire composition of your gut microbiome, causing an inability for proper nutrient breakdown. So not only are you what you eat, but actually you are what you absorb. A quick tip that's helpful to incorporate here to aid the gut microbiome is to make sure that you're getting enough fermented food in your diet. And that will help you get your probiotics, which basically means live bacteria. So things like sauerkraut, kombucha, miso, and live yogurt. Another term that's sometimes a bit confusing here is prebiotics. But these are simply the food that the probiotic bacteria eat. So you want to make sure you're consuming prebiotic fibers like onions, garlic, and asparagus. Gut microbes need about 30 grams of fiber per day, but the average fiber intake in the UK is only around half of this. Gut microbes also make nutrients like vitamin K. They also make neurotransmitters, which are similar to hormones in that they're the messengers of your nervous system. Microbes are part of the immune function, and they also control where waste goes. So you can see just how important microbes are. Everyone's gut flora is individual to them, almost like our own personal bacterial blueprint. So what's good for one person might not work for the next. But what we do know is that eating a diet rich in vegetables and fruits, among other healthy fibers, like lentils, beans, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, and low in sugar and processed foods, can help the balance of bacteria in our guts. There are two main types of fiber to be aware of, soluble and insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber includes things like oats, cooked grains, chia, and ground flax seeds. Insoluble fiber is things like kale, cauliflower, nuts, and seeds. But in general, we want a balance of the two. If you're sitting there thinking, I know I should eat more of these high fiber foods, but why do they make me so bloated? Well, you're not alone, and I have quite a few tips that will be useful to reduce bloating from fiber. Firstly, make sure you're soaking your beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds, as this will begin the process of breaking them down, get rid of that outer layer, and make them much easier to digest. Some other general tips in terms of bloating are to avoid overcomplicating your meals with too many ingredients. Avoid having too much raw food, as cooked vegetables are usually a lot easier to digest. Think about making dressings with lemon or apple cider vinegar. Anything with that astringency to it will help you break down the food. And finally, avoid grazing between meals to allow what we call the migrating motor complex, or the MMC, to work. And the MMC is essentially when your gut microbes sweep your gut clean between meals to allow you to go to the bathroom without any problems. So now that we know which foods our gut microbiome thrives off, let's talk about which foods have the opposite effect. Ultra-processed junk food is typically laden with extra chemicals that wreak havoc on the gut microbiome. There's already quite a lot of data on artificial sweeteners, which our bodies and our gut microbes are just not used to breaking down. And another culprit is emulsifiers. Studies have shown that emulsifiers lead to reduced diversity and more inflammatory microbes. Some sneaky things to look out for that are often marketed as healthy are certain nut milks. So if you're plant-based or avoid dairy, you'll often find that some almond milks contain things like carrageenan, guar gum, and too much of any of these is likely to disturb your gut's microbiome. Also look out for artificial sweeteners in so-called healthy snacks and sugar-free items. So the next time you're preparing a meal or snack, stop and think, will this make my gut microbiome happy or not? It's not only what we eat, but how we eat too. Instead of scoffing a sandwich or energy bar on the go, make time to sit down and really be present with your meal at the table. I know this is so much easier said than done, but research shows that this should be high on our list of priorities. Try to avoid technology or distractions and eat mindfully by tuning into the taste, smells, and textures of what you're eating. Eating slowly and mindfully is essential to the digestive process and in turn supporting gut health, which, as we know, then supports overall health. Outside of everything we do to foster diversity in our gut, we need to pay attention to the sneaky things that sneak in under the rug and try to sabotage our progress. And this goes far beyond just our diet. We need to think of the chemicals we're surrounded by, everything from our cleaning products to our skincare routine to tea bags that are bleached with chlorine. There's also things like scented candles to be aware of, as you're quite literally inhaling all the chemicals as it burns. And while we're on this topic, let's talk about pesticides and buying organic. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go and spend your whole month's salary on everything organic fruit and veg, but have a Google of the Dirty Dozen to see which fruits and vegetables currently have the most detectable levels of pesticides. Right now, top of the list is strawberries, leafy greens like kale and spinach, nectarines, and apples. So make sure that you're at least prioritizing buying those organic. So what are some simple steps you can take to improve your gut health? Here are my 7 top tips to get you started. Tip number 1 is to increase your fiber intake, aiming to reach 30 grams a day, but build up gradually because our guts don't like rapid change. Tip 2 is to eat the rainbow, so choose colourful fruits and vegetables and aim to eat 30 different plant-based foods a week, which includes things like nuts, seeds, lentils, and whole grains. Tip 3 is to avoid processed foods where possible and try and cut back on the salt and the sugar, both of which seem to affect our microbial diversity. Tip 4 is to eat fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, and live yogurt, as these will give you that probiotic bacteria that we talked about earlier. Tip 5 is to consume prebiotic fiber. So the prebiotic fiber is the food for the probiotic bacteria and encourages them to grow. Prebiotic fibers are found in fruits and vegetables, especially Jerusalem artichokes, asparagus, onion, garlic, tomatoes, whole grains, and legumes. Tip 6 is to incorporate regular physical activity and movement. Whether that's walking, running, boxing, Pilates, whatever you enjoy, it's not only important for your physical and mental health, but also for your gut health. And my 7th and final tip is about stress management techniques. So incorporating mindfulness, meditation, and breathing exercises into your day will have a really positive impact on your stress levels and then in turn on your gut health. So if I could leave you with one final thought, it's to stop and think next time you're at the supermarket or doing your online food shop. What am I putting into my shopping basket? And is it beneficial for my gut microbiome? I really hope you've learned something new from me today. If you have, then please comment down below saying your biggest takeaway from this video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, then let me know by hitting that thumbs up button, and don't forget to hit the red subscribe button down below, and I'll see you back here with another video.